I'm not sure if I'm the asshole here, or if I'm just losing my damn mind. My girlfriend, who I've been with for about 6 months but known for 4 years, has a mom who's, well, she's an abuser. And I don't use that word lightly. It's the full, textbook definition. Physically, she hits her. Just last week she kicked my GF so hard in the stomach it left a bruise. Financially, she takes almost every dollar my GF earns from her part-time job and claims she's putting it in savings. A savings account my GF has never seen a statement for, let alone accessed. And emotionally, man, that's a whole other level. The second my GF has an independent thought, the mom either ignores her completely or belittles her until she feels worthless. This has been going on her whole life, but lately, it's gotten so much worse. We finally hit a breaking point yesterday. We decided she was getting out. For good. The whole thing was a nightmare. We were in her room, trying to pack her essentials as fast as we could. My heart was pounding, half with hope, half with terror that the front door would open. Of course, it did. Her mom came home early. When she saw the bags, she just snapped. She started screaming, and when my GF tried to walk past her to the door, she lunged in, grabbed a huge handful of her hair, trying to physically drag her back into the apartment. I didn't even think. I just moved and got my body in between them. I'm not a big guy. That I was running on pure adrenaline. I just kept saying, "Let her go. You can't do this." The mom turned on me then, started shoving me hard, trying to push me out of her house so she could get to her daughter again. It was chaos. Neighbors heard the screaming. Someone called the cops. For a minute, with the police there, I thought, this is it. She's free. We even managed to get all her stuff out to my car. Freedom was literally on the doorstep. And then she went back inside to talk. An hour later, she came out with tears in her eyes and told me she was staying. Her mom had promised to be better, more freedoms, more responsibility, all the right words. And my GF, bless her heart, wanted to believe it so badly. The first thing her mom did once she was back inside, she took her phone, her laptop, every single way she has of talking to the outside world. The only thing the mom is still furious with me about is that in the middle of her trying to assault her daughter, I disrespected her by not taking my shoes off inside her house. My GF is Japanese, and I get the cultural significance, but it felt like the most insane, manipulative thing to focus on. Oh, and of course, her mom made no mention of giving back the thousands of dollars she's taken. That money, she says, is for when my GF gets a big girl job. So now my GF is trapped, isolated from me as part of the deal, and clinging to promises that I know are empty. I feel like I just watched the person I love walk back into a burning building. I love her so much, but this feels impossible. When is it that you know you cannot help someone? Am I wrong to feel like nothing has changed for the good? The weeks that followed were a special kind of hell. Our communication was reduced to short, sterile text messages that I knew her mom was probably reading. My girlfriend was trying to keep her end of the deal focus on school, prove she could be responsible, and that meant keeping me at arm's length. We finally managed to see each other for a few minutes before her work shift one Wednesday, and the conversation we had in her car felt like a punch to the gut. She told me that to do as well as possible in her summer classes. She couldn't see me again until they were over. I swallowed that, trying to be the supportive boyfriend. I get it. Her education is critical. But then she started talking about the fall semester. She had an unpaid internship on top of her job and a full course load. She looked at me, unable to meet my eyes, and said she couldn't even guarantee seeing me once a week. I just stood there, my mind reeling. Not even for, like, a few hours on a Friday night. Oh yes, The question felt pathetic as soon as it left my mouth. She just shook her head, looking miserable. Is it wrong for me to expect that? To want to be a priority in her life? Even a small one. I felt like her mom wasn't just isolating her. She was slowly erasing me from her life, and my GF was letting it happen. During this time, there was one thing I kept pushing for. One small thing I thought might actually help. I urged her to check out the university's counseling services. It was free for students, and it would be a space that was entirely hers. To my shock, she agreed. And here's where the pandemic created the weirdest silver lining. Because all the sessions were moved online through a new portal and it was summer, hardly anyone was using it. This meant my GF could get appointments whenever she wanted, sometimes even twice a week, and she took the calls from her room at home. At first, her mom seemed almost supportive, probably thinking it made her look like a caring parent. But as the weeks went on, something shifted. My GF told me her mom started getting agitated after her sessions, asking prying questions about what she was talking about. She was sensing her control slipping, and it was making her nervous. Our own relationship was really improving, but I was just glad my GF was getting help for herself. But I have to be honest with you guys. I was drowning. The loneliness and the feeling of being powerless were eating me alive. So I did something I haven't told anyone. I gave myself a deadline. I gave our relationship 3 months. If by the beginning of October, things didn't at least look like they were going to change in a real, meaningful way, I was going to walk away. It was an ultimatum for her. It was a lifeline for me. I love her, but I knew I couldn't keep living like this, waiting for a breakthrough that might never come. We were getting close to my personal deadline, just a week away at the beginning of October, and I was starting to feel sick with anxiety. The therapy sessions were continuing, but her mom's agitation was growing into a constant, simmering rage. I think the mama assumed my GF was just spilling her guts about every horrible thing she had ever done. The irony, as I found out later, is that my GF was barely even talking about her mom at that point. But abusers don't operate on logic. They operate on fear of losing control. And that's exactly what happened. The mom overheard a snippet of a session where my GF mentioned a story involving her abuse, and she finally, completely snapped. She launched into a tirade that was more vicious than anything before. She called my GF a mentally broken idiot, a pathetic child who needed her head checked. Just a whole torrent of the shittiest stuff you can say to another human being. It ended with the mom playing what she thought was her trump card. The ultimate threat. If you're so broken, then get out. I want you out of my apartment by the end of the year. I'm convinced she thought this would be the final blow, that my GF would break down, quit counseling, and beg for forgiveness. But something in my girlfriend had fundamentally changed. She just stood there, took the verbal assault, and when her mom was finished, she looked her dead in the eye and agreed. She would move out. She had no idea where she would go, and she had zero expectation that she could live with me, but she chose herself. She decided that potential homelessness was better than the hell she was living in. The mom was stunned into silence. She tried to walk the threat back over the next few weeks, but it was too late. The switch had been flipped. My secret deadline was no longer needed. We had a real finish line. In December, I helped her move out. Packing those boxes felt like the most meaningful thing it ever done. On the last day, her mom handed her an envelope. It was a few $1,000s, a portion of the money she'd stolen over the years, handed over as some kind of twisted parting gift. It was a few grand short of what it should have been. But in that moment, we couldn't have cared less. We closed the door to that apartment and never looked back. We haven't heard from her mom since that day. I won't lie and say it's been 100% smooth sailing since she moved in with me. Healing from that kind of trauma is a long, messy process. But with each year that passes, the waters get calmer. It's like we survived a hurricane together, and now we're learning to navigate the quiet seas. In June of 2022, we took a road trip to a little coastal town. As the sun was setting, I asked her to marry me on the beach. This year, we got married. Next month, we're going on our honeymoon. If you're reading this and you're in a tough situation, I just want you to know that you do not deserve the abuse you are receiving. I hope you have someone you can reach out to. Love is never, ever an excuse for someone to hurt you. If you read this far, thank you for listening to our story.